here to talk to you guys just about business as a force for good, as a concept, really. Share our journey, and just literally a quick 15-minute sort of insight as to what we've been up to, what our thought process is. So yeah, Planet Positive Printing. That's what we do. I don't want to be alarmist, but on the doomsday clock, sounds bad already, doesn't it? But on the doomsday clock, we're 100 seconds to midnight. That's the closest. It's the closest we've ever been to midnight since this doomsday clock started ticking in 1947. And why? Why are we so close? Our changing climate is why we're so close. It's scary, and it brings into perspective exactly the sorts of scenarios that we're actually facing should we go past our 1.5 degree increase in temperature. So I just thought I'd share that just to put it in perspective a little bit, really. Businesses, I think, are in a unique position to slow our changing climate. I honestly believe this. Business can and should be a force for good. It's no longer enough in mine and I'm sure all of your view that it's just all about making a truckload of money for the select few. It's about what we do as a business and taking some pride and some ownership into what our actual role is in business. What should we be doing? You know, is it enough? Is it enough to just do what we do, or should we look to inspire, to change, to push the boundaries? Our own particular journey and our own particular change of business model happened back in the mid-90s, where we found out just how damaging our particular industry is, so the printing industry. At that point, it was amongst, it was part of the 4th largest manufacturing sector, but it was the 5th worst environmental polluter. So it's this huge polluting industry, and we weren't particularly happy with that. So we wanted to find a way to actually move things on. But the key thing to this is that we had to change our values. We had to change what we as a business stood for. Previously, and 99% of businesses now still are a linear business model, you know, where its sole focus is on output and profit. The trouble with that business model is that that doesn't take into account wider values. This doesn't take into account the environment or society. And so by simply working to a linear business model, you're never going to actually make the changes or be able to put the key changes that need to happen at the heart of your decision making. So it's really important that we changed to a value-based business, and that's subsequently become the triple bottom line as we all know it. So with this change of understanding our values, we then said, okay, well, what sort of stuff do we need to look at? In our specific sector, it's water and waste, energy, transport. It's just massive, consuming and polluting, and it's really significant in terms of waste streams. So we had a few challenges that we had to overcome. Basically, we take you through a very quick snapshot of the sort of things that we did and the timelines that took us through it. We changed our printing process first off. That saved over 10 million litres of water. It's reduced our VOC emissions by 98.5%, so it's massive. We've had an environmental management system in place for 20-odd years, which means that we are charting our impact, we're measuring, we're reducing, we are, year on year, we are performing better. We are lowering our carbon impact per tonne of paper, for instance, and we've been through so many glass ceilings over this time to carry on the sort of striving towards best practice. Carbon neutral for nearly 20 years, renewable energy, of course, why wouldn't you? We've been zero waste to landfill. 2009, people did think it wasn't possible as a manufacturer. We did it, we achieved it. We've reinvented our own printing process called Light Touch, which is significantly, again, it reduced nasty chemicals out of the process. We've recognised with 3 Queen's Awards and the European Commission Most Sustainable SME in Europe, which is great. We became a net positive business in 2018, first sort of net positive printing company. And net positive is a new way of doing business, which puts back more into society, the environment, and the economy than it takes out. So we've gone from the position of being really bad guys for the environment to actually being a company that actually is regenerating the environment and society, which is some leap, but it's only possible from the 20 odd years of incremental changes that we've made. And we call this planet positive printing. And basically, just to sort of for clarity, what that actually means is this comprehensive approach includes scopes 1, 2, and 3 from the GHG protocol. I don't know if that means anything to some of you, but it basically we've looked at the carbon impact of our entire supply chain, our entire production, our entire material usage, our end of life, our colleagues' travel, basically our entire universe. So it was a significant piece of work, and is incredibly rewarding to get to that position. Currently, we are being assessed as we are here today as a B Corp. As you know, this is certified B corporations, a new kind of business that balances purpose and profit. We are now legally required to consider the impact of our decisions on our workers, our customers, suppliers, community, and the environment. So this is just putting a formalization of the work that we've already done, in effect, but just getting a final accreditation for it. It looks like we're going to be the first printing company in the UK to achieve this. And it also, interestingly, looks like that we're going to be the highest scoring B Corp printing company in the world, which is kind of cool. Quick look at what our business looks like, and this is just our internal workflow. We're working in a circular economy, have been for a decade, so there's no waste. We don't have any waste. All the material that comes into the business either ends up as finished product or goes into one of our many recycling streams. Ellen MacArthur Foundation are doing some great work around the circular economy. I'm sure you all know it. Again, this is fundamental to transitioning the economy to a low carbon economy, because at the moment we have this use and waste culture which is prevalent in our supply chains also. So it's a sensible place to start. If you can take the waste out of the supply chains, then we're going to have a massive impact on the utilization of all materiality. So pretty fundamental stuff. So just to surmise what we've up to, 3 Queen's Award, Most Sustainable SME in Europe, which is absolutely amazing, net positive B Corp, and we're basically doing good every day. This in itself, we've wrapped up to create value for our customers, and like all these things, you need to create value, and our value for our customers is them being able to demonstrate to their customers, look, you're working with an organization that is considering all aspects of their business. We really are walking the walk in terms of how we run our business and all the decisions we make. So it further supports their brand trust. And as we know, brand trust and reputation is key to how we all decide who we're going to be working with and how we spend our money. And so the business case for sustainability, I think we absolutely now all agree that sustainability has to be a cornerstone of any business. It doesn't matter what sector you're in. It's irrelevant. Sustainability has to be a cornerstone, because if you're not showing strong governance and understanding of the environmental impact of your business, then your customers won't trust you. And if they're not trusting you, they're unlikely to have brand loyalty. And therefore, it's going to directly impact the success of your business. A great example of this is the Carbon Disclosure Project, which I'm sure many of you are aware of. But basically, they are as a measuring system for the carbon impact of massive global organizations. And it's incredibly useful because it provides investors with insight into how well these organizations are being run, basically. And what's really interesting is the CDP list. So these are the top performers of these organizations that are really on top of their carbon reporting and have some great plans for reduction. These guys are outperforming the regular stock market, about 5.5% per annum. 5.5%, that's massive. And so what's the relevance to that? Well, the relevance to that is people such as Schroders and Kalpers are using this data, and they're picking the future winners and losers. And so this has a direct impact on share price. And therefore, if you're having a direct impact on share price, this is driving, your sustainability application and your sustainability plans and programmings are having a direct correlation on the value of your business and the success of your stocks. So it's really fascinating how all sorts of different sectors are coming at affecting climate change and how we're all doing our bit. And what I love this quote. I think it's fantastic. CDP is to the future of the business what the X-ray machine was to the then future of medicine. Without it, we would never see the inside of the patient's health. So very true. Interestingly, 67% of experts across the world believe that companies need to be carbon neutral by 2030 to remain competitive. I'm surprised that's not even sooner, to be perfectly honest. But again, we're all now starting to understand how important this stuff is. Children, we know children are the ones that know more than we do, are more passionate than we do. So it's unsurprising that 91% of parents have made environmental changes to our lifestyles, which is great, and it has to happen. And it's just a sad indictment, really, that it's children that are forcing us to change. We should have been doing this a long time ago ourselves, but nonetheless, it's happening. And this is why I feel quite positive about how we are moving forward. It's just a case of, is this stuff going to happen soon enough? Interesting. This is a poll that was out yesterday. 33% of those polled believe that climate change is the biggest threat we face. Bearing in mind, we are in the midst of a pandemic. And so that was only 15%. So people are really starting to get it, especially now, when our world has been turned upside down. But when we go outside, we can look up and we see the blue skies. We can smell the clean air. We can hear the bird songs. We can walk around in the park. It's just such a fantastic change. And that's why I'm so hopeful that this is an opportunity for a complete reset in terms of how we are living, how the economy is being driven, what's important. A little bit of background as well for you guys. We created this Better Business Pack for basically sharing our roadmap and how we went on our journey. And there's 9 steps there. And it's about basically, it's for SMEs. It's a free to use. It's just we hope, helpful website that people can use to say, okay, what are the steps that I should be looking at to build my sustainability roadmap? What are the actions that I can take that are important for me to be able to sort of start moving my journey on? So maybe it's useful, maybe not, but it's there nonetheless for you. And don't forget, a little bit of something beats a lot of nothing. And that's the whole point of this exercise, is we need to take small steps. And as we've shown over our 20-year journey, you can make some serious distance. And the importance is that this is not going away. Sustainability is only getting more important, and so it should. And so this is why the business case for sustainable best practice is absolutely unquestionable. We all need to just get on board and understand what we as businesses can each do to actually start driving this forward. So That's it. Thanks very much indeed for listening.